And now, since we're at this point, I can go to the Nether. Show that off. Let's first collect these. So I can grind these when I get there. See, in the base, or fortress, I should say, I built in the Nether. I've, sheep are gonna be real noisy. I'll back up here. I've built it so that it uses a windmill there, because the windmill can be driven by the thermal currents in the Nether. These are just some animal farms here I've been building. Different colored sheep. The sheep have been tweaked as well. Here are chickens. Chickens now only lay eggs if you feed them seeds and better than wolves, which, you know, adds another level to the kind of structure you can build to take care of the chickens, and then they'll produce eggs, and then you can use the eggs, throw them like usual, and produce either raw eggs, which can be used for cooking, or chicks like normal. So there's no just kind of automatically eggs dumping everywhere. Also, you can see I have cows and pigs stored up so that I can, you know, butcher them and get beef and leather things. First, let's go down here to the Nether. So through the portal. And you can see the Nether chamber, or the Nether gate portal chamber I built here on this side. One second. Gas, really freaking noisy. So, as you can see, I built the floating netherrack torches. Down here, you can see the windmill outside the window here. It's really big, 13 by 13 in size. Needs that much free space to work. And there's some gas outside. Thanks to my window, you can get a look here at the Nether, what it generally looks like. And this is, as I said earlier, you can't see it here, but there are axles outside through the wall that connect to the windmill, to the gearbox, and the gearbox to the millstone you saw earlier. And it can now continuously process, so unlike the hand crank, you don't have to keep cranking it. It's automatically driven, so what was once tedium with the hand crank is now automatic. And it will just spit these out. Now, similarly, I'm going to put up the saw here. Let's see. I'll use a bit of dirt here to help me place it correctly, the way I want. Okay, it's down, and you can see it's powered, and it's emitting those smoke particles. Now, saw blades will hurt you, you know, if you get up at them on the same level. You can't really do that here because, you know, I got this block in the way. But it's also useful for killing mobs. So no more that whole lava blade trap and other things. You can just use the saws, power them, and they'll do a really efficient job without as much issue. Now, what's important about the saw here is how it, well, changes how you do things. Now you can put a log down here and you'll get 4 planks just like you usually do, but you'll also get, in addition, sawdust, which has other uses in other items to create later. So I'll show you here. And we got the pine or spruce wood planks and the sawdust. Collect these. So we can do this. And as you can see, this is a lot faster. Processing, I guess. I mean, I can just hold down on the button here and it just keeps cutting while I'm waiting here. So you can see I produced 52 planks from the wood from the wood I had. Now, excuse me. Now that's not what's really important though about these. What happens is a lot of the more advanced stuff in the tech trees require very well cut wood, more fine detailed wood than just the usual planks and sticks you create. So one of the first things you can do is you can put a normal wood plank onto here, and it will create siding, which is basically a half block. It'll create two of them there. So as you can see, I've created two oak siding. Oak siding is useful for making more efficient creation of items. For example, like instead of using 8 planks, you can use 8 siding, which ultimately equals only 4 planks. So you basically have the amount of wood you use in creating chests. And there's a similar setup for most of the common wood-based items in game. Signs and so on. So if you do a few sidings here, and again I can just practically hold down and just keep chopping. Down the road, once I get a block dispenser later on, which is a really useful, powerful block that we'll see later, then we'll be able to make automated setup where I'd simply need to load the logs into it and it will do all the cutting for me. So anyway, likewise you can place down an oak siding, a single oak siding, and get 2 oak wood molding. And these can be placed, by the way, like this. So, and molding can go down like this. And as you can see, you can create new types of things with this effect. You can also right click and control their angle of turning, or their direction, in different ways to create all sorts of effects, and it'll automatically connect between different pieces of types into creating nice angles. So you can rearrange things to create all sorts of interesting effects, such as like decorative framing and all sorts of other things. But what more, just like siding, these moldings are used in more efficient recipes. In this case, they basically, anywhere you'd usually use a stick, you can basically replace it with one of these. So as you can see here, one molding can also be turned directly into one stick. However, keep in mind, this is also more efficient just for the sake of sticks. For example, normally when you break up a wood plank, 2 wood planks, you get 4 sticks, which means you're getting, you know, roughly 4 sticks for 2 planks. However, with this, you're splitting a single plank into 2 of these, which would equal 4 of these. No, wait, I'm doing them now. Yeah, 1 plank splitting into 2 of these sidings, and then 2 moldings means when you produce sticks, you're basically getting 4 sticks out of a single plank rather than out of 2. So again, more efficient. And likewise, you can combine these into different items. For example, you use 1 oak wood molding for the stick in a sign, and then 6 oak sidings, or 6 whatever wood you want to use, sidings for the actual body of the sign, and basically you'll get a sign out of that, just like usual, which makes a much more efficient use of wood. Make sure to collect all these up. So yeah, molding is, some of these pieces like siding and what I'm going to show you next are also important because they're used in building very specific new things down the road. For example, you have the hopper. That's the next big new block that's coming up to talk about here. And a blocker, or hopper, I mean, requires siding and something called a corner piece. And collect up the loose hemp here while I'm doing this. And likewise, you put this here, it'll be cut by the saw and produce 2 corners. Corners, likewise, they're basically just half of this. they're used in a few different items, the hopper being the key one. So I'll make a few of these for illustration. So the saw lets you have some much more precise wood usage, and of course the corner itself can be also cut down to thinner shavings, which allow you to create gears. So now no more wasting 4 sticks and a plank to make a gear. Now you can just cut this into 2 smoothly shaved cogs, or gears, I mean. Which means, you know, again, much more efficient usage of materials. I'm going to turn this off for the moment here. Less noise. And as you can see, we are in another... Oh, the glass here, I know I thought I mentioned this already before, but I end up losing footage here and there, so I sometimes have to repeat myself because I'm not sure what I've already covered. But as you can see here, the glass being this way is part of the connected glass mod that's part of MC Patcher. So anyway, I'm going to get myself down to making some things, or doing a bunch of wood cutting to get the various materials. But before I do, I'll do a quick illustration here about what I was saying about the hopper. It requires a pressure plate, which I can make with 2 of these. Again, normally you'd have 2 planks. Now you're only using 1 plank for this, so it saves you wood. To make a hopper, you'll need to do 2 sidings, 1 pressure plate, 2 gears, and 1 corner. And this will create you a hopper. Hoppers have an inventory, just like usual, but here they have a block that you can put as a filter. Filter allows you to sort through different items, does all sorts of things. I'll touch on that later. But suffice to say, it's a filtration box that normally will collect items that the filter doesn't block would be collected down here. And items that the filter does block would be carried on down the line to wherever. If it's being controlled by, if items are being moved down a water flow, it can flow over the top of the hopper, collect what goes through the grate down here, and let larger objects pass by. And there are all sorts of grates, ranging from things like trapdoors and ladders to rollers, and ultimately soul sand, which is going to become important later, but I'll touch on. So unfortunately it will not drop any of the items that are in it until it's been powered by an axle that's powered from a power source. Once I get that, then it will drop the items it collects, allowing it to be collected. And this will dump directly into chests or whatever else you put under it. So you can store things directly into chests with hoppers, and all sorts of other things, including some pottery, which we will be making the coveted soul urns later, which are a vital ingredient and just plain cool, because as an evil wizard, I like trapping souls in urns and bottles and enslaving the souls of the damned to do my bidding and make use of other evil materials. So I will begin going back to chopping some wood, and we'll be back soon.